Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Pastor Daryl from The Quest in Galesburg, Illinois. Glad to have you with us again this morning. And I want to pick up where I was at yesterday. If you saw yesterday, you saw I kind of ended it abruptly. It's because my son showed up with my grandbaby and I needed to cut it off. But I want to go back and talk about dealing with changes and changes in our life, changes in ministry. And let me kind of review real quickly. I talked about how humans, we're just creatures of a habit, how we like to have things the same all the time. And it's funny because, you go in your favorite restaurants and most people order the same foods all the time. If I go into La Roma's, my favorite pizza place, so they can count on it, sausage and mushroom, that's what I'm getting. Once in a blue moon, we'll throw them a curve, but generally speaking, it's the same thing. Face it, we don't like change. My wife was just commenting at breakfast this morning how that I'm more of a traditionalist than most people realize I am. I like things staying the same. And I talked about how churches are so notorious that we don't like change. I've pastored long enough that literally I remember moving the piano one time and somebody just had an absolute fit. I mean, you would think that I got up and preached a false doctrine or something. Anything that disrupts the routine. We changed the order one time. I came in one week and we did the preaching first and the worship afterwards. I mean, people were just having a fit because that's just not the way it's done. Well, those are extreme examples, but the fact is every time there's a change, whether it's in a church or in our lives, we start questioning, is this God? And I want to talk about, I started on this yesterday, Moses. When he was in the wilderness as a shepherd, he went farther into the wilderness than he had normally gone. We read the scripture and it says that he saw a burning bush. Now, that seems odd to us, a burning bush, but I want to emphasize this if you don't know. A burning bush is what was not out of the ordinary in that area, especially for shepherds. In order to keep warm, in order to ward off animals, they would often light a bush on fire. What made this one different, if you read the scripture, is that bush did not consume and did not burn out. It kept burning. Moses must have been sitting there for some time, and notice this bush continued to burn, and finally he said, I must check this out. I'm giving you the Garrett translation. He said, I must check this out, and he went there, and we know the scripture how when he approached, the voice of the Lord told him to take off his sandals because he was on holy ground. The point was, it was different. It was something different than what he had seen. It was not the normal thing. Let's be honest, if it was us, if it was the typical church member, we would say, wait a minute, that's not how we do things. We would say, we've never done it that way before. And we would have missed out on the burning bush experience, and we would have missed the call of God. That's what I want to deal with. So many people miss what God is wanting to do in their life because if you read that passage, this was a pivotal point in Moses' life. There are several key points, but from this point on, Moses' life and his ministry, his calling, was never the same. The truth of the matter is, some people are just assembly line people. And I'm not mocking your job. I'm talking about in our mentality, the way we approach things. A lot of Christians are assembly line Christians. As long as it's the same routine, as long as it's the same way, and nothing gets out of ordinary. I worked assembly line for a short time, and I'm just going to be honest, I'm not an assembly line person. I couldn't do that same routine. I need some variety and some things changing up. But when I worked at assembly line, I remember they changed production. And when they did, it changed what people were doing. And there was people got so mad, they got suspended from work because they rebelled against the change. They refused to, it's like, how foolish can you be that, okay, you're still got a job, you're still earning money, but they're changing what you do, and in a little bit of time that would have became the norm too. But they refused to adapt to the changes. Well, I believe a lot of churches and a lot of Christian people are that way, that God has thrown us a curveball, so to speak, and it's not like he's trying to trick us. He's trying to take us to a new place, because you can't go to a new place until you leave the old place. You have to learn to flow with the changes. And maybe I'm talking to somebody right now that you're going through a period of adversity, a period of change, a period of transition. Maybe you've been sent deeper into the wilderness than you've ever been sent before. Understand, God may just maybe trying to take you to a new place. He's trying to get you out of your comfort zone into a new realm. And to see, it could very well be that God is trying to take you into a new experience in Him. That's one of the reasons why the Pharisees fought against Jesus so much, is he was bucking the system, if you will. He was changing things out from what they had always known. You couldn't do it the religious way. That's what religion is, doing the same thing in the same pattern over and over and over. See, rather than resist change, stop and ask yourself, God, is this you? Are you trying to show me something? Are you trying to do something new and different in my life? See, the word says that, see, I do a new thing. And God is trying to do a new thing in so many people's lives, but they have resisted. Let me encourage you this morning, rather than resist it, move toward God. Instead of bucking the system, instead of fighting against what God is trying to do. Think about this. When Saul was on the road to Damascus, when Jesus confronted him and blinded him and he fell from his mount, he said, Saul, why kickest thou against the pricks? What he is saying is, why are you fighting against what I'm trying to do? God is trying to do something new in your life. And your pastors, hear me, God's trying to do something new in your ministry. And because it's not the same old way and the same old package, the same old way that the overseers told you to do it, you're bucking it. You're fighting it. Lean into God. Lean into what God is trying to do and find a fresh perspective and realize that what you're seeing is exactly what you've been looking for. Stop fighting it and ask God to move. I hope this helps somebody today. If you got questions, feel free to contact me here at The Quest. You can call me, area code 309-335-6480. Please understand, I'm not trying to talk against any denomination or any movement. I'm just trying to say, sometimes we're fighting what God is trying to do, and we don't see that God is trying to do something wonderful, something new and marvelous in our lives. God bless you. I hope this helps you. Come back and see me again at The Quest.